Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
In the beginning, God had one law: don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that might impact you without you knowing it. So tune in to Talk Law Radio on KLUP 930 AM The Answer. Also KSLR 630 AM The Word, and KNTH AM 1070 in Houston. Also Facebook Live, YouTube, and talklawradio.com. So Tony Tylman is here. He's going to be talking to us about reverse mortgages. We're going to find out what the stigma is and why it is, and what are the benefits, what are some of the costs. We just want to find out the details. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm really passionate about, older adults living their very best life. And I read statistics like 80% are living paycheck to paycheck on a fixed income, with the inflation thief dealing very poorly with that because their cost of goods is much more expensive. But then I watch people and talk to people that are like, oh, I needed to get a massage and I didn't get a massage. Why not? It's just not in the budget right now. And it's like the fixed income only goes so far. And then I was sick last week and I got an IV. They came to my house, gave me an IV, and I was completely dehydrated, and it cost $200. And I was like, wow, how many? The nurse that was giving me the IV, she said, seniors are older adults, very dehydrated, frequently dehydrated, but they won't use this service because it's not covered by their Medicare. And so what are some of the other things that they don't take care of themselves anymore? They're worried about protecting an inheritance, possibly, they want to give something away, or they just don't see options. And the stigma around reverse mortgages comes from a couple things. One, there was a time, these we're talking about the baby boomer generation, where their parents lost their homes, or they heard stories about the grandparents losing their homes.
Right.
And
the Great Depression.
The Great Depression. And it was always pay your house off. You don't want to.
Or in 2008.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to owe the bank. Yep. And so that idea of having an equity rich environment really changes from a cash flow standpoint, but that's been cemented in their belief system, is that's one thing that you do. And then, reverse mortgages really are not that old. It started in 1970 something, and it was a way for older adults to get money to be able to pay for other things. But there was some predatory lending going on. There are people who took advantage of the systems, and some people lost their house. The spouses of the passed away, primary borrower, they would get evicted. And if they didn't pay for their house or upkeep the house, they could get evicted. Wow. So it has to be managed, but that fear was very real. The other part that's also changed is now there's mandatory education, and lenders cannot influence that education at all. There has
to be by a HUD accredited.
That's correct.
Counselor.
Yes. And there's a list of them, but we can't tell them which on the list. They have to negotiate their fee, but they have to go through that training. So that education process has been really important for making it available. And so we work with some reverse mortgage companies that, I asked them, it's like, because the statistics are, Dave Ramsey will say, don't do it, right? He'll say the fees are too high. Why don't you sell your house instead, which we talked about in the first segment, which is possible. But a lot of times now, if somebody sells their house, even their new house has higher taxes than what they were paying in their existing house because their taxes have been frozen. So did they really change their monthly cash flow that they have to make that payment out of? Not necessarily. And a lot of older adults don't want to move. Yes, it's a solution to unlock, yes, it makes sense to downsize. They don't use the upstairs. However, they don't want to move. That's their house. They want to stay in that house. So if you create this if you educate your clients on, or the older adult on what their options are, all of a sudden it's like it frees up. What could $1,000 a month do for an older adult? Medication, the right food, being able to entertain themselves and do more fun things so they can enjoy retirement. That's what retirement's about. Retirement was not supposed to be about sacrifice.
Or paying for home care so that they don't fall down.
Again, another, home care, massages, for the ladies, getting their nails done, getting their hair done, feeling good, self-esteem. That's what helps longevity and having a great quality of life.
Yeah.
So I'm on the bandwagon of helping people understand that it's a viable option and understanding what the expenses are in comparison to not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden it's like, wow, the power of what that can do for somebody and their growth. I have a 92-year-old neighbor. Her name's Nana. We think she's an angel. Swear to God, she's just awesome. She could be on the Fiesta poster. She's just a wonderful woman. Nana at 92 is starting to do therapy, physical therapy. And it's making her feel great. She's got different energy now. She's got, excitement and enthusiasm that she didn't have before. Well, fortunately for Nana, she's got the resources to do it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people on a fixed income do not. And so they forego that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a real opportunity to look at. It's like, not only do you have that opportunity to feel good, physically, mentally, then it just opens up a much more healthy lifestyle for the older adult.
Can you talk about the rules? Like, who is the reverse mortgage available to?
Sure. So the basic rules are anybody who's 62 and owns a home may qualify for a reverse mortgage. There's some qualifying requirements because you still have to maintain your house. That's part of it. You don't maintain your house, they could call the note due. And so what's maintenance? Roof, the house can't be falling apart. You have to take care of it. And so part of that is they have to have some people who are helping them manage things, because as they get older or forgetful or something happens, that can affect that loan. At 62 though, they don't get very much money. It might be 5 or 10% of the value of the home.
Okay.
This product is really key for people who are over 70, 75.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because now that they can get a larger amount that allows them to have more options.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a one-time thing. So if somebody at 62 takes out their loan, well, that's that loan for that period of time. The older someone is, the more they qualify for to be able to make a difference in their financial lifestyle.
And how is it repaid?
So that's the fun part about this. There is not a monthly payment obligation. And so when you were talking earlier about HELOC, home equity line of credit, now, and that's one of the things, again, some of the people are like, oh, you need to get a home equity line of credit instead. However, that comes with a payment. And so while it was less interest and it was less fees to get that home equity line of credit, it's got to be paid back. And on a fixed income, that doesn't necessarily make sense.
I usually don't see the HELOC with retirees. It's usually home real estate investors and one-off, I'm going to do a home improvement. I'm going to, I have a one-time expense type of flexibility.
Right. But I'm glad you brought it up because I have these questions about, let's compare a reverse mortgage with this. And that was one of them.
Yeah.
The HELOC. What about reverse mortgage versus refinancing?
So refinancing can be a great play, and it depends on what your asset mix is.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody who's on a fixed income, a refinance does not, or a refinance creates a monthly obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Someone on a fixed income isn't looking to increase their monthly obligation. They're looking to decrease it.
Right.
So a reverse mortgage does not have a payment. Now, what does that mean? They call it reverse because the loan balance is going to increase every month. And that's where people go, oh, wait a minute. That's a really bad thing. Well, you didn't get all of your equity up front. You got a portion of it. So there's a long way to grow where that balance will likely not catch up with the value of the home. So the fear is, well, what if that balance grew so much and the market came down and the value of my house is not as great as the loan balance. Well, that feature has been kicked. And that was one of the problems with the loan before, is that somebody could owe more. Now they can't. That's part of the obligation of the reverse lender, that they take on the risk. And if they make that loan, that person will never owe, even the heirs, after that person dies or moves out of the house, sells it, they will never owe more than the value of the house.
Wow.
Yeah. So that takes a big chunk of the risk out of it.
Right.
Yeah. So we've got a client right now. They're the guys live in, he's 82, paycheck to paycheck. He's having health issues, and and he wants to stay in his house, does not want to move. So they're like, well, how can we do this? How can we pay it? He doesn't qualify for a loan either. That's another one of the big things on a HELOC.
Credit.
Yeah. On a home equity line of credit and on a refinance, they have to qualify for that loan. On this, the qualifying is much easier.
Okay.
So they get the money so that they can do something with the money, which again, financial planning is really important, because they don't want to take the money and go blow it. Right. It needs to be managed. The point of it is, hey, can I peel a little bit off of it every month to help stipend my my monthly income, or to pay for that AC that's been out for 5 years, or to pay for that hole in the roof to take care of the leak that's causing damages. That all that money is released and available to them, but it still needs to be managed.
Awesome. Well, Joseph, after we take a break, I wanted to ask you to weigh in on how you could plan for that, how you could crunch all of those numbers as a financial planner. But we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk more about reverse mortgages, because I have some more questions, especially about how maybe life insurance could be used, because I do worry about the kids and the grandkids and all the people that are expecting an inheritance, because people really do want to leave something. It's just part of our culture, I think, in the United States, is, that's what everybody else does, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So we have to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.